Good morning, everybody. It's Martin, the sales strategist, coming to you live from a brand new Melbourne studio. I was changing studios over the weekend, so all the tech is working great. But the best news is I'm joined this morning by Ben Pace, and Rob McKenzie is in the house this morning. And welcome, gents. And I've been really fortunate to be working with Rob, Ben, and the team for the past 12 months. And I know a little bit about this business, or a lot about this business, and I was really keen to get them on because these guys absolutely rock the high performance auto enhancement space. And so welcome, Rob and Ben.
Thanks for having us.
You guys have got a really interesting story. You guys have known each other since you were knee-high to grasshoppers. So I'm really curious. Guys, tell us about your friendship and how that went, how you got to become petrol heads, and then how do you turn that into a business? And there's a lot of questions. And how the hell have you maintained a friendship whilst running a business? There's a lot of questions there, but start from when you were knee high to a grasshopper, lads.
Well, I'll kick off the early days, and then Rob can fill the last little gap. So I guess it starts when mums were doing their thing, hanging out and all that sort of stuff. And this was, what we'll say, how old are you now? 50, 60?
37.
37. So yeah, 36 years ago. Basically to the point where, we've just been in each other's lives since birth. We've been really close. Rob's a single child, and I had an older brother, but we sort of were more together, like family style. We grew up causing havoc, playing guns in the backyard before iPhones and all that shit was around. We hung out at parks and terrorized the local neighborhood. We were playing Nintendo and Super NES longer than we should have. Remember, we'd have to hide it from his dad. When we were meant to be sleeping, you'd hear him get up and we'd have to fucking turn the TV off quickly. Back when dial-up internet was a thing, you'd have to sit on the pillow while the modem was dialing in, beep, 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 trying to,
Yeah.
Then, we went to the same schools together. Rob was a year older than me, but that still wasn't the thing. I'd be at his house in the afternoon, and then Mum would come pick me up from there. We'd get in a quick session of Super NES, Rocket Oil Racing and Mario Kart and all that sort of stuff. And then, naturally, as we went through school, we took a little bit of sort of different pathways. I got into sort of the car scene with a couple other mates, and Rob did a psychology degree.
I went to uni and got a degree, and then
was money well spent.
Yeah, did the standard university thing, graduated, and went, what a load of shit! I want to do something else.
Yeah.
Actually, not what a load of shit. Let's say we found our passion elsewhere.
Yeah. So then, I remember I was working for a small time performance workshop that was here in Astley. Basically, Rob got his first import, which was a
Still 80, or 180 at the time. I crashed the front end off it and turned it into a Still 80. Yeah.
And then I had a Sylvia, and then basically it got to the point where the bug really bit. This is sort of the birth of Fast and Furious movie 1, and West Coast Customs was a hot thing on MTV. So that whole just customizing thing and making it different and personalizing it just spoke volumes to us. So Rob actually had more money than me at the time and had a really good sort of idea of selling old bits and pieces off to fund a new project. So he sold his old bits, his turbo and lots of stuff off his Still 80, and basically in Dad's garage we put a bigger turbo on. And just from my skill, I knew enough to wing it. This is before Google existed. You couldn't just Google how to do shit.
Yeah.
So you'd been working in a performance workshop up until this point. So you're on the tools as a mechanic.
Yeah,
right?
I was on the tools, and had a small network of parts know-how and all that sort of stuff. So the biggest thing is that we got everything bolted together. We were actually pretty good at Lego. So this is in Meccano back in those days, those fancy people. So that got us to a point where we hit the roadblock where we need to get the car tuned. So we engaged in probably the premier Brisbane workshop back, and I'm not going to name names. that offered dyno tuning, which was where we had to bring everything together. That's probably closer to your heart as far as what happened. So maybe this is what really birthed the idea of East Coast Customs. So that's pretty important.
Yeah, and look, I guess it was one of those things. Yeah, look, Ben and I probably did all the blood, sweat, and tears, and built this thing, you know, in Ben's garage or whatever it is for ages. And we finally, as I said, we took it to this other place who are, like the dyno tuning guys in Brisbane, and we went there and took the car there, and it was just hands down the worst experience of our life in terms of, it was, you know, young guys with no money and got the old rope-a-dope in the door at one price, and then got told on pickup day, went to pick up the car, and they tried to hit me with double to triple the price of what they quoted. And this was at, you know, like $459, and then said, like, look, you can't pick up the car unless you pay the bill. So it was ringing and scratching around to find a way to call my parents and tell them like these guys are going to hold my car, like what do I do, you know what I mean? And eventually got the car, and then it broke down on the way home, kind of stuff like that again as well. And it just left such a sour taste in our mouth. And then going back to them and speaking to them about what happened and everything like that. And as I said, like, Ben was already in the trade and all that kind of stuff. And look, we were not experts by any means, but we had a really good idea of exactly what was happening and all that kind of stuff. And not only did they give us a really terrible customer experience, then they just tried to feed us all this rubbish and lies and all that kind of stuff in the dealing with the problems afterwards. And it was just one of those ones that, like, Ben and I went back from that one day and just went,
fuck this.
Yeah, politely, fuck this. Like, look, we can do better. You know, and like, no one should have to go through an experience like this. We could do better ourselves. And
so there's a big leap between you know, the realization that we could do better and actually having the guts and the determination and the kahunas to go out on your own. So what was that leap? How did that happen?
I think, look, the leap was a little bit, it was fortunate timing, I guess. In the end of, as I said, Ben was still kind of doing his apprenticeship at this other place. I just finished uni, kind of stuff like that. So I just finished my psychology degree and was kind of in a gap year of, do I want to go on and do postgraduates and all that kind of stuff or whatnot. So I was kind of taking some time, and you know, the stars just kind of aligned, and we had the time to come together and you know, sit down and just go, look, do we want to have a crack at this? And, you know, sat down and tried to write a business plan and do all this kind of stuff.
They got shot down how many fucking times?
Yeah, you know, like, we were these 21-year-old kids trying to pitch to investors and did nothing. But and just did it. Look, Ben and I were both working behind the bar at a nightclub to pay our bills and do all that kind of stuff in the meantime, and just scratched and saved and did everything.
It's just a fantastic story, you know. Two kids grow up with a passion. You get to that stage. So fast forward to where you are now. So how long has East Coast Customs been in business?
This is year 16.
Yeah, 2005. We opened, and yeah. I mean, it was one of them things. Like, we had all these goals to start up with $200,000, and it just didn't happen. We had $7,000 each from my dad and Rob's dad, and we were lucky to buy one hoist, some bare tools, and some computer equipment. We were going from less than $50 a week, paying each other.
Year one of business, our salary for a 100-hour work week was $50 each. And then in year 2, we gave ourselves a pay rise, 100% pay rise to $100 a week each. And in year 3, we paid ourselves $150 a week each. And this is like full-time living, breathing and stuff. So I must admit, it kind of triggers us a little bit when people with no skills, knowledge, experience and all that kind of stuff want to go straight into Seek and Career One. And
so was there a time during that period, because as you said, you're working 100-hour weeks and you're getting paid a pittance. Was there times when you guys thought, nah, too hard?
Actually, no, I don't think so. Yeah, but that was the passion in ourselves, is that we were part of this crew. We've always had people around us that was like, man, this is fucking awesome, and we're like, yes, it is awesome. You know what I mean? And we would finish work and go hang out with car people and Aspley Maccas and down the Gold Coast and all this sort of stuff. So we just lived and breathed cards, and I think that's what got us through a lot of this, is our undeniable passion for what we do. Which is why when people start up businesses, like, you've got to be passionate about what you've got to do. For us, our biggest lesson is just fucking hustle.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, we've been in the trenches. We know what it's like to work on nothing and to still have to deliver a high quality expectation. That's why I think sometimes the biggest gap is that some people just don't know how to hustle. I'm not going to say that's the end all of it, but when times are tough and everything is, you got your back against the wall and COVID comes out and whatnot, like your passion and your hustle is what's going to get you through.
Yeah, if you don't love what you do, you're not going to hustle.
Yeah,
that's gold right there, like the hustle culture. Absolutely.
Yeah,
and
there's a time where we're like, man, we're not getting paid enough.
No, not
once. Because we never did it for the money, was it? We were just,
not once. Not once.
Yeah.
Funny enough,
so 16 years later, if you look at East Coast Customs, and you would now be probably one of, if not the best quality, highest quality, high performance auto enhancers in Australia. And so how did you get there? Like, what was because you've now got a reputation around the country. You were telling me earlier that you get vehicles coming from Perth. Yeah, you get a lot from Brisbane from where you are, but you get vehicles from around the country who have heard about the reputation or the experience. So tell me about that and where you are now. How did you become, a chosen supplier of like Walkinshaw, for example, and some of these other major brands?
Look, just being dynamic and adaptable. I'd say our business has followed a really funny trajectory or curve where when we opened in 2005, as Ben said, it was right in the heart of that, Fast and Furious and that really JDM era, and it was just all about this Japanese, drift car lifestyle and car shows and going out and doing all this, standing around car parks with your neons on and car racing and stuff like that. But it's it took us. I think one thing we've done well as a company to get us from where we were to where we are then is we started out and all we worked on was these little Japanese cars. And then as time and markets and everything and technology, it's probably the biggest thing, is technology has evolved through the years. But Ben and I, as a blessing and a curse, don't like to sit still kind of stuff. So we're always, and one of our company values is being innovative and always looking forward to what's next. And it's always been a case of seeing emerging markets come up and not being afraid to, take a risk and give things a go to try and, adapt and learn and kind of move with the markets. To the point now, whereas we've gone from a Japanese specialist to working on V8s through 4-wheel drives, now electric vehicles. We had a Tesla company car only a year or so ago, and then to fast forward to 2022, probably what we're known for most, like nationwide and internationally even, is what we do with most of our US based stuff. So whether it's any of your LS or your Commodore V8 stuff, your Ford stuff, and then for better for worse, now in Australia the car park's changed and it's all Silverados and F trucks and Rams and all the big stuff. But the only way we've got there is just being dynamic and you're not being set in your ways, being true to your values, but not being set in your ways, and just being able to keep moving with the market. I guess it's what's kept us around, because I can definitely say if we kind of just bunker down and we said, no, this is all we work on, back in the day, we wouldn't still be around. And all the people who did what we did and who were bigger than us back in the day have all kind of been and gone by the wayside by now.
Yeah, that's interesting, because my history with vehicles. I'm not a petrol head, and I gave you a few stories which prove how ignorant I am when it comes to motor cars. I get it, I drive it. That's about all that I do. But it was amazing to me to find out, and I'm not giving away any confidences here, but to know that you do auto enhancements, which are $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 customers are spending to upgrade their automotive experience, which just blew my mind. Like that's significant amount of coin. But not only that, you run track days where they can actually come and test their vehicles out and pit them against each other, which then leads them to spend another $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. That's an interesting experience. So tell me a little bit about the track days, because I know that's a good lead magnet for you guys as well. You get quite a bit of business either pre and post track days.
Yeah, like it's one of those things. Like a light bulb moment hit us when I don't know where we're driving to, and we're just jamming it out together in our little sort of creatives, like maybe going to a game of golf or something like that. But then
it was the car show.
The car show, was it?
We were a major sponsor of a car show.
Yeah.
And we just sat there all day and went, like it was super expensive for us to be naming rights a major sponsor of this big car show. And we sat there all day and just got nothing but leads of no, not necessarily great leads of customers that kind of fit our bill, and all these new customers. And we kind of just sat there, as Ben said, jamming it out and being like, talking. I've got all these other people we need to get back to of our existing customers when we get back to work. And we just said, why are we not spending more time with them and building events that look after them, as opposed to sitting here,
hustling for new people that probably aren't our ideal clientele. You know what I mean? Like, so then it was born that, we're like, oh, well, let's see what our customers want. And, our customers just want to drive fast. They want to test out their cars without the fear of fines, police, crashing is always a thing. But, less chance of doing anything like that, to have it out with their mates, to up each other and all this stuff. And it was just born, the idea of having a multi-diverse sort of track day where it started with our sort of top customers, and then we said, hang on, let's build our community and get it out to everyone. And the track day consists of some circuit racing, some free cruising up and down straights, some roll racing, hanging out and just chilling at the end where we have a barbecue and something to eat. So it's one of them things, and what comes with that isn't important. Naturally, people want to go faster. They notice improvements they can do on the car, which is, that just comes along with it. So we don't do it for that. It's just creating that lifestyle, which I think is what our business is around now, is enhancing lifestyles.
It's kind of a Fast and the Furious, but a legal version on a track, East Coast custom style.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and then, like the friendly rivalries are sort of born, and it's like don't you tell that dude what I'm doing because I'm going to beat him next time. So, yeah.
That's fantastic. So I'm interested. So what's the most difficult challenge that you've had as far as jobs that have come to you? What's the one where you've gone, you know what, holy shit, that's going to be difficult? And how did you overcome those difficulties when you actually took on that job?
Like, I'm not going to say there's one job in that instance, because we always seem to be copying the first of something. Yeah. And it's to the point where we get something fitted, like supercharger kit on a brand new Silverado hadn't been released yet. It's on there, and then the mad scientist over here has got to work out how to tune it. And some of the things that he has to do as far as tuning wise is just unorthodox as fuck. For us bolting on a supercharger, it either fits or it doesn't. But when it comes to the algorithms and all that sort of stuff, as far as tuning, it's just time, and we've just done it so many times that it becomes difficult. But we've got confidence that we'll always get there. So that's a constant struggle that comes up. But the new of something, it's always, all right, here we go again. Let's get it in. Let's play around with it. Give it to the scientist, and he'll eventually work it out. But is there a standout demon?
I don't know if there's a standout. As I think as Ben touched on, it's just like the stuff that lights us up is not packing wheel bearings and servicing vehicles. Like we do all the custom high performance enhancement, the crazy kind of sexy stuff. But there's no handbook for how to do that stuff or how to do it well. And it's just you've got to work it out. And I sort of Ben talks about the tuning side of it, but it's the guys on the floor as well are just there's people, you give them a part, and if it doesn't fit, they go, oh, it doesn't fit. But I know Ben and our team are very well. It doesn't fit. How are we going to make it fit? And then next time, how do we make it fit better and better again, or what can we change? And we're always kind of so that's the challenge. It's a blessing and a curse because it keeps us on our toes. But it definitely does present challenges.
Between us and the viewers, we're not squeaky clean. We have instances where, engines blow up and things don't go ideal and whatnot. But that's when we really, we value ourselves on our customer support and aftercare and all that sort of stuff, and having those proper conversations about it. What you're doing here is pushing the limits of something. How many rockets blew up before they got one up into the sky? So obviously we're a lot more calculated and we talk about these risks, but this shit does happen. And we're just blessed to have good clients that trust us and know that, hey, look, we've got their back, or we're going to get this sorted. So
right.
Yeah.
So I'm interested. We were talking off camera earlier about leadership. Leadership is a key pillar in a successful business, and you guys have gone through some leadership challenges, I know, over the past few years. But tell me about the few key learnings that you guys have had in and around leadership and leading a team, because you've got a team now that is pretty bloody good. We were talking earlier, they've been with you for 6, 8, 10 years. So you've got a long, so obviously your culture's pretty good, but just talk to me a little bit about leadership and what you've learned about leadership and what you've implemented in the business that's worked.
Where do we start?
The biggest thing is actually realizing what leadership is. Like when growing up, like you think a captain is a leader. I mean, you're the captain of the first 15 or captain of the fucking first 11 cricket team, and I mean, surely there are some traits from that build up to being a leader, but fuck, I mean, like it is just a constant ongoing growth and learning and all that sort of stuff. Like, leadership to me is empowering people, influencing people, listening, being a good follower at times, but also knowing that it's a lonely job, and sometimes you got to make the hard calls that aren't necessarily favorable, and back that and it's a hard fucking slog.
Yeah, I guess leadership, I would say, honestly, like we talk about what's hard with the car side of things or the technical aspect of what we do, but I actually find leadership and like leading a team, and like people need to be led, not managed. Like it's not managing, it's leading. But to be honest, I actually think leadership and business is like the most challenging part of business. And yeah, it's funny. I think a turning point for Ben and I once we were dealing with business coaches and all that stuff back in the day, and we had one come in and we sat down and told us everything what's wrong with your business and how can we help and this, and Ben and I were very rattled off our list of 100 things of what we thought was wrong, and these people aren't doing this, and staff don't do this, and the coaches sat back and went, this is easy, I can see exactly what's going on here. And I said, I know exactly what's going on with every single problem you have within your business right now. I'm all like, oh, yes, finally. And they just turned around and they went, it's fucking you two.
Like, get out!
you guys are the sole core reason of every single problem that's in your business right now. You guys are the leaders, and you're not being the leaders that your business needs. And everything stems down from the leaders, and you need to set the example, set the standard, be clear on what you want, your purpose, your mission, your values, and take all the ego and the rubbish out of it. And yeah, like I said, like leadership's like being a parent. It's the most it's the most challenging part of the whole experience. So
I imagine when that conversation happened and the coach said to you, "Hey, look, guys, you're the issue." I imagine there would have been
kicked him straight out of our office.
We didn't see him again, did we?
Yeah, we helped him.
So, but yeah, because it can't be us, surely not. But it's been in leadership, as you know, is a gradual journey. And so, we've all been through this thing called a global pandemic over the last 18 months or so. So what are the biggest challenges that you guys have noticed within your business? Because you've actually been positively affected by COVID with the businesses going through you guys. But what challenges have you had to manage? What leadership challenges have you had during COVID?
Like this whole last 2 years. Been 2 years now?
Almost 3 now, I guess.
It's been around complacency. Because this is, sometimes we talk about it, and sometimes it's an artificial economy what's happening here. It's unnaturally propped up in some areas, and there's other bits and pieces. So as a leadership, it's just trying to keep everyone's head straight, trying to make them realize that this could be the last. There's always this may be the last meal. Keep hungry, keep hunting. We've got more leads and more business coming at us than we know what to fucking do with. So don't get lazy. Because at any time this fucking magic switch could turn off and borders open and money goes back offshore and people are holidaying instead of spending money on their cars, or people are oh shit, we're running out of money, so I'm not going to do the luxury stuff, which is our business. So we need to keep upskilling and taking this time and developing our procedures and SOPs and making sure our people are kept hungry and healthy and all that sort of stuff. So that's probably been our biggest thing, is just keeping level and keeping humble.
Yeah. And probably just galvanizing our team. I think the most powerful thing for us was when this pandemic really first hit. When we really got first wind of it. we just sat down and closed the entire workshop for the day and just laid everything out to the team in as raw and honest as we could be. And we said, we don't know what's going to happen, but like, we've got your back. This is one in, all in. And we said, like, we don't know if we're going to have to lay people off. We don't know what is happening with the world, with all this kind of stuff, and just got really raw and honest and kind of just got buy-in from our entire team. And look, like, that was the most powerful thing that I think probably ever happened in terms of bringing us together. And obviously the government and everyone keeps throwing challenges our way with this pandemic, you know, in terms of like now there's the whole trying to manage mental health and dealing with work from home, and now it's dealing with vaccination versus unvaccination and what different mandates come in and out. You know what I mean? But it's just trying to keep the team together, because the one thing we always say is like, look, the day you're going to stop, your team is what contributes to the enjoyment, I guess, and the joy you have at work. And then the day you stop enjoying that kind of stuff is the day you probably need to start thinking about, is this the right place for me? So our biggest challenge is, and I think what we found in business is, it doesn't matter how big or fancy the cars get, you know what I mean? The bigger our team grows, the bigger the challenge is keeping our culture what it is. And, you know, and we've done more work in the last 5 years on creating the team and culture that we want in this business, more than, you know, a marketing strategy or SOPs or any of that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? Because the team's, it's what it all
our CFO doesn't get his head around it, but our marketing budget for our team and culture is larger than
just our team and culture budget is
larger
than our marketing budget for the year.
Yeah, that's nice. So we've got about 3 minutes to run, guys. So I just want to start wrapping it up. But, you know, in regards to anyone out there who has a high-performance motor vehicle, you know, the one thing that I know about East Coast Customs is that they are a premium quality auto enhancement company. So the one thing that goes with that is you guys aren't cheap. And you've never wanted to be cheap, and that's something you've owned through the whole sales process that we've been on. So you actually select customers. So before a customer outreaches to East Coast Customs, what type of customers do you look to work with, guys?
To be honest, we're looking like blokes like us, to be honest, at the end of the day. And I think that's what helps us be successful in what we are, is we are one of you guys. But yeah, look, we're really clear on who we want to work with. As I said, you know, and we do focus on premium vehicle enhancements. But generally, look, our customer is the kind of guy who wants to kind of buck the status quo. I guess in terms of, you know, the age-old line of like, car people get it. You know what I mean? Like, we're never here to sit and try and push modifications and all that kind of stuff onto someone who does it, but someone who goes out, buys a premium vehicle, understands the impact and, you know, what that can do for their lives and their experience and all that kind of stuff. And our role in that is then taking that vehicle and being able to take that bit of joy that car brings, or the extension of that personality that car brings to someone, and crank it up to an 11 for them. You know what I mean? And that's what we do. And absolutely, you know, the challenge is, once again, there's no handbook on building a dream car for a person. You know what I mean? And it's just a matter of, yeah, we'll build your dream car, but it's.
But I imagine, you know, when you're handing over the vehicle, and your customer sits in that vehicle for the first time, they turn it on, and they're getting that brr, brr, and you're seeing the smile on their face. Look at that. Yeah, it must just be joy for you guys, right?
That brings us back to just a job that we did just recently. I think, Marty, you would have had Jason and Carmen's Mustang. There's a video on our Facebook page of the handover, and Carmen just burst into tears because it was the dream car they've been wanting. I mean, this couple are quite wealthy, can buy any car they want, but this was their dream car. You know, dream build, and to the team, not just Rob and I, we nailed it, and it was pure joy, and that's why we do it.
Why you do it.
The smile on their face after that first drive, that startup, you know, I mean, like, some people don't understand it, but they're probably not our clients.
Yeah.
And
that's
making the lives of the customers and making the world a better place. That's why we did the sales thing together. So, guys, it's been lovely to chat this morning. But if anyone is looking to get some auto enhancements done, or maybe just wants to reach out to say, hey, how do they communicate with you guys? How do they contact East Coast Customs?
The easiest way there is obviously all the usuals. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all the usual social media channels, or head directly over to our website at www.eccustoms.com.
Brilliant. And with that, that's 30 minutes right on the money. And, you know, I'm the on-time guy. So thank you, everybody, for paying attention. Rob, McKenzie, Ben Pace, East Coast Customs, great to have you on the show this morning.
I appreciate it.